Thank you for joining me for yet another unboxing video, and today we have more Pathfinder RPG goodness. But this time we're talking second edition, Agents of Edgewatch Pawn Collection, brought to you by Pazio. Pathfinder Agents of Edgewatch. Deadly foes and memorable monsters from the Agents of Edgewatch adventure path are ready to captivate your players and menace your tabletop with the Agents of Edgewatch Pawn Collection, featuring more than 100 creature pawns for use with Pathfinder or any tabletop fantasy RPG. Printed on sturdy cardstock, each pawn presents a beautiful full-color image of a monster or NPC from the Agents of Edgewatch campaign, including criminal masterminds, wicked city-dwelling monsters, otherworldly horrors, and even a few potential friends and allies. The Agents of Edgewatch Pawn Collection, together with the creatures from the Pathfinder Pawns Bestiary box, provides pawns for many Agents of Edgewatch encounters. Each cardstock pawn slots into a size-appropriate base from any of the Bestiary box collections, making the pawns easy to mix with traditional metal or plastic miniatures. The Agent of Edgewatch Pawn Collection brings to life the enemies and allies from all 6 adventures of the Agents of Edgewatch adventure paths. Devils at the Dreaming Palace, 60 Feet Under, All or Nothing, Assault on Hunting Lodge 7, Belly of the Black Whale, and Ruins of the Radiant Siege. And then we have a listing of everything that's included in our pawn set. We see that the value of this one is $24.99. For more information, go to Pazio.com. So let's crack this bad boy open and see what kind of goodness we have on the inside. So when I play games of Pathfinder or Starfinder, I don't use the miniatures. I tend to only use the pawns. It's an easy way to set up on the table, basically have everything squared away. So I do love my pawns. So here we go. We're going to take the dust jacket off. Some people throw these off. I always keep them. This way it always gives me a listing of everything that's included with that pawn set. This one, for some reason, starts with the large size, so we're going to flip it over a little bit, and we're going to start with the human size and then go from there. So right off the bat, we have a skeleton champion, some skeleton guards, some skin saw murderers. Again, I'm not going to read them all. Again, when you look at the pawns, the only complaint I ever have with the pawns is sometimes you see that parts get cut off. They're beautifully illustrated, just like every other pawn set that they have, whether it be for Pathfinder or for Starfinder. But when you pop them out, it does lose a little bit of the edging. It's not a big deal because it still looks awesome. As you know, it's a good thick cardboard that when you can push it right back in. But again, that's a minor complaint that I have about any of the pawn sets, that I sometimes don't like the fact that those are left over, but it does not really affect the game one way or the other. So in other words, here you lose part of the top of the limbs here as well. So anyway, so here's our characters again. So there's your top. Lots and lots of pawns to choose from. Front and backs are identical. There you go. Some more characters. And when you look up close to them, I like the fact that it has that information right there. AOE 45, 46, 47. It tells you which set they are from, which is very, very cool. And what number pawn they are. And you have multiples of certain characters and not so many of the others. So Shredskin, you got 4 copies of those. A couple of the Shining Child. But when it comes to your characters, there's only 1 or so of them. Again, that's those, and the backs are all the same. And we move on. here we have some of our smaller creatures. If you pop him out, so you could tell size differential between the characters. And I do like the fact that they maximize the amount of characters you get on a sheet, which is very, very cool. So there you go, a Clockwork Assassin. Let's cool them down here. These guys are pretty good. Gloaming Will-O-Wisp, a hyena. Again, front and backs are the same. And then we go to our medium-sized creatures. There's your whole set. You flip them over. Again, it's identical on the back. Orange Swarm, Demonic Skinner, again, the artwork on these, second to none. Paizo always does a great job whenever it comes to their pawn collections. And again, when I'm playing role-playing games, oftentimes I like the pawns easier because it's just easier for setup. I go to a house, I bring a case full of them, and I use what I need to use at the game versus bringing multiple cases for different figures, because obviously these take up a lot less space in a on the table, and also as storage wise, they lay flat. It's a lot easier this way. There you go, some Lie Master. Just the artwork on these are fantastic. Very, very cool. They go back side. And last but not least, we have our Amari. Again, for $24.99, get a lot. It's more bang for your buck, because if you were going to buy individual figures, this would cost you, for this amount of sheets, 8 sheets of these. If you picked up one of these characters each and had to take the time to paint them, you have to pay for paints, have to pay the time it takes to paint them. Also, you have the brushes, the water, everything else that you would need to purchase to paint these figures. It would take hundreds of hours of painting time, where here it's already colored for you. It works out beautifully, and this is hence why I always use the pawns for my role-playing games, for Pathfinder and for Starfinder always. Anyway, this is everything that's included. This concludes our unboxing of Pathfinder RPG 2nd Edition Agents of Edgewatch Pawn Collection. As always, thank you so much for joining us for this unboxing video. It's truly appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, you could always give us a thumbs up and leave a comment below. You can also hit that subscribe button. This way you're kept up to date as to any time we release new content to the page. As always, thank you so much for joining us. Be safe, be well, enjoy the remainder of your day, and we'll catch you on the next unboxing video.